So far we have treated variables as full numbers or characters, but bitwise operators let us work directly with the raw binary underneath, like testing, toggling, and shifting individual ones and zeros. Beyond primitive integer types, C++ also offers library tools like std-bitset when you need a flexible, dedicated collection of bits, but the core fundamentals start right here with built-in types. Before we touch a single bit, there are two critical rules you must remember. First, integer promotion. If you pass a small integer, like a character or a short, into a bitwise operator, C++ automatically promotes it to a larger type, like an integer. That means if a 1-byte character gets expanded to a 4-byte integer, C++ pads it with 24 0 bits on the high end before doing any work. As we can see in the current image, we have the character A, which is in ASCII, it's 65, and it's 8 bits. So when you do an bitwise operation with it, it gets expanded with more bits. So instead of 8 bits, it will become 32 bits, and all of them are zeros, as you can see, the expanded ones. And here is the binary place value chart. If you don't understand what bits are, like if you don't understand what this 65 is, how do we write 65 in bits? You have this table. Each number inside this table is multiplied by 2 from the previous one. If we look at 1, we can see that 2 is multiplied by 1 is 2. 2 is multiplied by 2 is 4. 4 is multiplied by 2 is 8. If 8 is multiplied by 2 is also 16, and etc. So the way we calculate it, 65, we have to switch on this. Every number we want, we have to switch it on by entering number 1. So I entered here number 1 because I wanted to use the number 64. Otherwise, all these numbers are going to be zeros. And to calculate 65, I have to also enable the number 1. Otherwise, all of the values are zeros. If we have more than 8 bits, that's how we do it. But if we have only an 8-bit value, like the character has 8 bits, then we don't need to use those for the rest of the numbers right here. And that's how we calculated that 1 0 0 0 0 0 1 0 equals 65, because 1 plus 64, they are both enabled, so we increment them together and we will get the number 65. And if you want to calculate as an example only the number 3, you switch 1 and 2 on, and the rest of them you have to make them 0, just like we did before. It is pretty easy and simple to understand. And don't use signed types with bitwise operators. In C++, we have the left shift operator, which is this one right here. This one is gonna shift this variable by 2 places to the left. That's why we get number 4, because of the table that we have mentioned. And this one is shifting right. So if we wanna shift it once, we can shift it once to the right, and it will become 0. And when we shift number 1 by 2, we would get, if we multiply it by 2 once and then multiply it by 2 again, it will become 4. And so when we run the program, we can see that after shifting the unsigned integer value uval by 2 places, we'll get the number 4. Because like we saw in the binary place value chart, that shifting the number 1 by 2 places will get the number 4. And by shifting it, we would make this one as 0. So this one becomes 0, and also this becomes 0, and this one becomes 1. So this is how we would write it. This one as 1, this one 0, this one 0. And now we have the number 4. And we shifted the switch from here to there by 2 places, and those numbers will get replaced with, this one will get replaced with 0, and this one with 0 as well. Because signed integers use a signed bit to represent negative numbers. If you shift or flip bits on a negative signed value, how that signed bit behaves depends on your specific machine architecture. So left shifting a signed value that alters its sign bit triggers undefined behavior. So save yourself from the headache and make your bit manipulation variable unsigned. So depending on your compiler, you will get something else depending on your compiler. In mine, I received -4, which kind of makes sense, because if we shifted 16 by 2 places, even if it is a minus, we would, let's say, divide it by 2 once to become 8, and then divide it by 2 again, and it would become 4, and we just add a minus to it. So yeah, and there is a rule that the number of positions you shift must be non-negative and strictly less than the bit width of your result. result. Shifting an 8-bit byte by 8 or more positions, or shifting by a negative number results in undefined behavior. And finally, we have the bitwise not, which is a tilde right here. This is how we write it, not. And it simply flips every 0 to 1 and every 1 to 0. And just like the rule we learned that it promotes it to an integer, in this example we are using a character, unsigned car, and it gets promoted to an integer. And all those 0 bits that we said they are gonna get added are gonna get flipped to 1s. So when we flip the number 65, it's gonna become minus 66. So if we flip number 1 and make it into an integer, we're gonna get this value, and if we use this value and flip it, we're gonna get 1. So this is how it works basically. In C++, we have the left shift operator, which is this one right here. This one is gonna shift this variable by 2 places to the left. That's why we get number 4, because of the table that we have mentioned. And this one is shifting right. So if we wanna shift it once, we can shift it once to the right and it will become 0. The next operator we have is the bitwise AND operator, which is this one. And the AND bitwise operator. In this example, we have the number 3 and the number 7. And now we should represent them here. So for the number 7 to work, first we start with the number 3. We have to switch on the 1 and 2 to get the number 3. And the rest of them has to be 0. And for the number 7, we have to switch on 1 and 2. We have 3 and then 4. So 1 plus 2 plus 4 equals 7. And the rest of them are 0. So if we use AND between those two, first the rule for the AND is if both the bits are 1s, the result is going to be 1. So if we add them together using the AND, bitwise AND, we are going to get the result that this one is 1, this one is also 1 because both of them are 1s. This one, there's 0 and 1, so we get a 0. And the rest are 0s because 0s and 0s are 0. So if both are the same, the result is going to be the same. If both of them are not the same, then we are going to get a 0. If one of them is 0, we are going to get a 0. So the result would be the number 3. If we look at the code, the result is A and B equals to 3, which is correct how we calculated it. And now we will start with the OR. The next one is the bitwise OR, which is only this character, this symbol, that is the one vertical line. That we use if we have an if condition with an OR, like if you have two conditions in an if statement and we want to use the OR symbol, which is the double vertical lines. And the way the OR works, it's kind of similar to the OR condition. So if one of them is 1, the result is going to be 1. Like if one of them is 2, it's going to go inside the if statement, if you get my point of view. So this one is 1, this one is going to be also 1, this one is also 1 because 0 or 1 will get to 1, and zeros are going to stay 0 even using the OR. So the result would be, as you can see it, the result between 3 and 7. If we use the bitwise OR, we're going to get 7. And if we run the code, let's see, going to also be 7, which is right. The next one is the bitwise XOR, which looks like this. This is the symbol for it, and it's like sometimes when you write in the comments, maybe like a cute smile, like this one where we add this face. So this is the bitwise XOR, and the way it works, it's gonna switch the numbers, like it's gonna switch it to 1 if both of them are different. So if you have a 1 and 0, we are gonna get a 1. So if they are different, we are gonna get a 1. And if they are the same, we are gonna get a 0. So we get a 0 here because they are the same, and also 0 here, and 1 here, and the rest are gonna be 0. And if they are also zeros, they are gonna get zeros. So now we only get 1, just 1 here, and it's the number 4. So we get 4 as a result in this example. And if we look at the code, we're gonna get 4. It's right. And that's it. And needs both, or needs any, and XOR needs them to be different. And by the way, don't use normal integer, just use unsigned to avoid headaches. As an example of using the bitwise operators, let's assume a teacher has 30 students in a class. Each week the class is given a pass and fail quiz. We will track the results of each quiz using 1 bit per student to represent the pass or fail grade on a given test. And we might represent each quiz in an unsigned integral value, like we have here unsigned line long quiz 1, and we define quiz 1 as an unsigned long, which means quiz 1 will have at least 32 bits on any machine. We explicitly initialize quiz 1 to ensure that bits start out with well-defined values. The teacher must be able to set and test individual bits. For example, we would like to be able to set a bit corresponding to student number 27 to indicate that this student passed the quiz. We can indicate that student number 27 passed by creating a value that has only bit 27 turned on. What that means, if we declare a variable for student 27, we can use the one unsigned long, and we bit shift it to the left by 27 places. And now we have the student 27, and then we would assign the quiz 1. We can use the bitwise OR to indicate for the quiz 1 that the student 27 has passed. So we can say that quiz 1, the bitwise OR symbol, and then we can say students 27. We know that the zeros and ones, when we have the OR, if one of them is 1, the result would be 1. It's almost as if we are assigning it like it equals, like quiz 1 equals student 27. It's like doing that, but using bitwise operators. And here we have a binary place value chart of 32 bits. We have 32 bits, and all of them are zeros, which is basically the quiz 1. And since all of them are zeros, so when we declared student 27 and we did the left shift of one unsigned long to the left by 27 places, it means that we first had this is the one unsigned long. It has only one bit that it's switched to 1, which is the number 1. And we shifted it to the left by 27 places, so we should come to the number 27, and we switch on this one. And the OR operator, now we have the quiz 1 and we have the student 27. Using the OR between them, the result would be 27 as well, because OR takes only 1 if one of them is 1, and the only one that is switched on is 27. The OR result would be just 27 as well, and that would be the quiz 1 new value. And we can write it instead of this way, we can do it this way as well. Instead of declaring a variable and initializing it to that result. And what it basically means is just this when we use the OR and equals. It's the same as plus equals, if you remember it. And it's slightly easier to understand the other way. I think this way is slightly easier to understand because we are abstracting them. And now to fail the student 27, and to make the student 27 fail in his quiz 1, we use the AND operator, and equals, and we have to use the not, bitwise not, to flip the zeros and ones to the opposite in the result in the student 7 variable. Since we have right here the student 1, we can see that all of them are zeros and this one is 1. When we flip them, this one would become zeros and all of them would become 1. And when we do the operation with this one, so if I flipped each one to 1 after flipping each 0 to 1 and the 1 to 0, when we use the AND operator, the bitwise AND with the quiz 1, this is quiz 1 at the moment. So the result would be, if we have 0 and 1, we are gonna get a 0. So all of them would be zeros, and this one is also 0. Since all of them are different, that's what would happen basically. We would get everything as 0. So in this case, we have made his grade, the student 27 grade, to 0. And these numbers are all 2 of power to 2, and 2 of power to 3, and 2 of power, and 2 power 4, 2 power 5, 2 power 6, etc. It's not really the number 1 or 2 or 3 or 27, but it's the bit 27. Like the index of it is 27, but the value of it is 2 of power 27, like this way. This one is 2 power of 27, just so you know. And to check the status of the student, if he passed or not, we can use the quiz and bitwise AND with the student 27. If the result was 1, it might mean true, which means he passed. If we uncomment this one and run it, we can see that it turned to 0, which means he has failed the quiz.